African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of December 3, 2025. The Russian Federation Armed Forces continue to conduct a special military operation. Units of the North Grouping inflicted damage on formations of a mechanized brigade and a storm regiment of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the areas of the populated places of Andriivka, Hotin, and Novosich in the Sumy region. On the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of two mechanized brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the populated places of Vilika, Staritsa, Varvarovka, and Lyman in the Kharkiv region. The Ukrainian Armed Forces lost up to 170 military personnel, 3 armored combat vehicles, 6 cars, and a depot of material supplies. Units of the West Grouping improved their tactical position. Damage was inflicted on the personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized storm brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and 2 National Guard brigades in the areas of the populated places of Kupianska Zlovaya, Monikanovka, Novosianovo, Blagodatovka in the Kharkiv region and Alexandrovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy's losses amounted to up to 220 military personnel, a Kazakh armored vehicle, 13 pickups, 2 radio-electronic warfare stations, and 5 ammunition depots. Units of the South Grouping improved their position on the front line. They inflicted damage on formations of mechanized, airborne, storm, and mountain storm brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a Marine Infantry Brigade, and a defense brigade in the areas of the populated places of Seversk, Kramatorsk, Slaviansk, Berstok, Drushkovka, Stepanovka, Karovka, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The Ukrainian Armed Forces lost up to 140 military personnel, 2 armored combat vehicles, 8 cars, 2 ammunition depots, and material supplies. Units of the Center Grouping improved their position on the front line. Damage was inflicted on the personnel and equipment of 5 mechanized, Ranger, Airborne Assault, 2 Airborne Assault Brigades, 3 Storm Regiments of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, 2 Marine Infantry Brigades, a Defense Brigade, a Special Operations A Brigade, and 3 National Guard brigades in the areas of the populated places of Anovka, Dmitrov, Rodinskoy, Dobropoli, Svetlo, Vodinskoy, Teretskoy, Belitskoy, Belozerskoy in the Donetsk People's Republic and Novopavlovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to up to 430 military personnel, a Kazakh armored vehicle, 4 cars, and 2 artillery guns. Units of the East Grouping continued to advance into the enemy's depth of defense and liberated the populated area of Chervono in the Zaporizhzhia region. Inflicted damage on storm formations, 3 mechanized brigades, 2 storm regiments, the 8R Storm Battalion of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and a defense brigade in the areas of the populated places of Vozvyazivka, Kosovtsevo, Zalaznikno, Gulapol in the Zaporizhzhia region and Andriivka in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The enemy lost more than 235 military personnel, a tank, 3 armored fighting vehicles, 18 cars, a 155mm self-propelled howitzer Panzerhaubitze 2000 produced by the Federal Republic of Germany, a reactive artillery system Vampire of Czech production, and a depot of ammunition. Units of the Dnepro Grouping inflicted damage on the personnel and equipment of the Mountain Storm Brigade and the Coastal Defense Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the areas of the populated places of Volynsk, Novoyakovlevka, Stepnogorsk, and Primorsko in the Zaporizhzhia region. More than 65 Ukrainian Armed Forces personnel were destroyed, 6 cars, 2 radio-electronic warfare stations, 3 ammunition depots, material supplies, and fuel. By the operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, rocket forces, and artillery of the grouping of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, Damage was inflicted on objects of transport and energy infrastructure used in the interests of the Ukrainian armed forces, a workshop for assembling long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 145 areas. Means of air defense shot down 251 unmanned aerial vehicles of aircraft type by the forces of the Black Sea Fleet in the northwestern part of the Black Sea. 2 unmanned boats of the Ukrainian armed forces were destroyed. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 668 airplanes, 283 helicopters, 100,082 unmanned aerial vehicles, 638 anti-aircraft missile systems, 26,348 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,624 combat vehicles of rocket artillery systems, 31,689 field artillery guns and mortars, 48,199 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.